Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Or I guess I should say good evening. Today's topic will be Dune. This is going to be a short form review. Not like the reviews I normally do, but I'm just going to give you my quick off-the-cuff thoughts, feelings about the movie, where I'd like to see it go, my thoughts on a few of the characters, the action, the set pieces, and, of course, the very contentious Hans Zimmer score, should I call it? Let's do this. Dune is a big movie, and normally a big movie I would have a huge production. Today I'm going to just give you my off-the-cuff thoughts in a short form review. Hopefully you'll enjoy that, and let me know in the comments below if you want to see more reviews in this style. Now, Dune, the Denis Villeneuve against the David Lynch. Obviously I prefer the Denis Villeneuve. Even though it wasn't the complete story, it was still more coherent and cohesive in its form than was the Lynch version. The Lynch version sandwiched everything into one movie, whereas this one we're hopefully going to get spread across two at least. Because I think originally Villeneuve said he didn't want to do more than two movies, didn't want a trilogy, because trilogies are, quote unquote, all the rage now, but we've always said on the channel, not everything needs or deserves to be a trilogy. Sometimes you can tell the story in one movie, sometimes two is enough. Sometimes you absolutely need three to get all the details in. But that's become almost I would consider it a trope, or consider it a crutch to some filmmakers. Design-wise, this movie was beautiful. It was the scope of it, and I can't wait to see this in the theater. Now, I watched it at home on my TV by myself. Everybody was gone. I wanted to sit down and watch this movie, so I got in the right frame of mind, sat down, watched the movie, and thoroughly enjoyed it. The runtime cruised by to the point where at the end, which is I'm not going to do, a lot of spoilers in this. To me, the ending was almost perfect. Almost. And I say that because you have this sense of ambiguity leading into the next movie. Like, it was like a classic movie ending from the 80s, the cliffhanger. So I liked it, and I liked it knowing that we'll probably get that second movie. Now, if this movie doesn't, begat a second one, then we'll have some issues with the ending of Dune. So I liked that aspect of it. I enjoyed that. I thought it was well done. I thought Villeneuve placed emphasis on the fact that, this is only the beginning with Zendaya. And let's talk about Zendaya and her Shani character, who was only in the last couple minutes of the movie in physical form, and the rest of it she was dream sequences for Paul. Timothée Chalamet was amazing in this. I've never seen him in anything else, but I know that this kid has a bright future. Hopefully he gets some more good roles of this nature. Man, is he skinny though. He's a tiny little fella. But he did very well. The fights, this is why I say that, the fight sequence with him at the end was believable, because he was using his fighting style to overcome his much larger and physically stronger opponent. So it worked in the context of that, of seeing him as a fighter. And he was a hell of a swordsman, which he was taught by Duncan Idaho, Jason Momoa, who, as I said in my previous Dune video, Robert Jordan played Duncan Idaho in the Lynch version. This Duncan Idaho was much more Jason Momoa. He was almost a dude bro, like almost, but they never really went full Jason Momoa being Jason Momoa. He's not a very versatile actor, I'll say that, but I do enjoy his performance in this. He was good. And it seemed like he had that relationship with Paul, which is the only time we see Paul with that kind of interaction with somebody, where it's almost like, hey, you're my friend. Whereas, it's the Duke, his father, his mother, these other, Gurney, which Josh Brolin did an excellent job in that. So I liked him. I liked the way the shields looked during combat. Obviously, 84 was, they're only limited by the technology of their time. For that time, those shields look good. Now we look back at them, it's kind of like, I can still appreciate it a little bit for what it was back then, but now they look great. The slowing of the blade before penetration during attacks, based on because the shields they've almost rendered projectile weapons useless. So it's a very cool dynamic to see that we've moved this far ahead in the future, yet we have to go back to like blade weapons, you know. So it was a nice touch. I liked it. I enjoyed it. The Harkonnens, we didn't get Fade Ratha this movie, which obviously we'll be getting him in part 2, which, you know, no fig leaf sting in this one, which was a very funny part from the Lynch version. Stellan Skarsgård is Baron Harkonnen, terrifying, calculating, intelligent, pretty much the opposite of what Baron Harkonnen was. Played by, I believe it was Jim McMillan in the 84 version. So I like that more. Like I said, Beast Raybon, Batista, very fitting role for him. Sharon Duncan Brewster is Liet Kynes compared to Max von Sydow. She did an excellent job in her role. It fit. She worked with the Fremen. You know, she worked with, I don't say worked, she blended well to the cast of the movie. I didn't even care that it was a race and gender swap, honestly. We've talked about it a little bit, but it was not something that ever bothered me because it was executed well and wasn't done in a ham-fisted, preachy fashion, which just shows that you can do these things in movies. And it doesn't have to be a huge point of contention to where your audience is up in arms about it. So that is... And I've said this before, it's almost a dog whistle at times to have a race or gender swap or have a some sort of this modern day representation where it's actually done, but it's done right and it's organic, but people still complain about it. That's what lets you know where certain people's mindsets are at. Me, I was just like, okay, cool. What I do feel bad for is that they cropped her out of the Chinese poster. That, again, the same thing with John Boyega in The Force Awakens. They minimize these roles, which one makes me wonder, why are you still trying to, you know, kowtow and placate China? The one thing that makes these people forget all of the causes that they champion: money. Which is odd for so many people who claim to be so anti-capitalism, yet their very profession depends on capitalism and money. So I don't know where their heads are at with this. Because this movie was not woke, there was no political agenda in any way, and there was a few things in the lead up. We heard from, I believe, Rebecca Ferguson, who was excellent, by the way, as Lady Jessica. Also, Oscar Isaac had spoke to the fact that there was anti-capitalist messaging in this. I never picked up any of that. I didn't. And Oscar Isaac, you should probably not preach anti-capitalism, or else you would not be a millionaire for playing pretend as a adult meat puppet. You know what I mean? Which Oscar Isaac, again, Duke Leto Atreides, wonderful in this movie. Absolutely wonderful. There really wasn't a bad casting decision made in part 1. Zendaya is the only one I've heard people really knock, and that's because of her Clint Eastwood squint, which I don't know who told her to do that. It's kind of funny because she's always squinting. I'm like, either you're stoned or you're looking into the sun all the time. I haven't figured it out yet. In Eastwood's case, he was looking into the sun. Zendaya, I guess there was a rumor a couple years ago that her hair smelled like weed and patchouli, so maybe she does. Who knows? Zendaya, I don't mind Zendaya. I really don't. I want to see a little bit more development, what they're going to do with this character, but we'll have to wait for part 2 for that. Hans Zimmer. I loved what Zimmer did with the soundtrack and blending the soundtrack into the world that the movie lives in. I thought it was excellent. I've heard people complain, it's not a score, and I'm not trying to be condescending, but it's just like, it's a score in a sense that whatever atmosphere Zimmer provided works well within the context of the movie. I didn't have any issue with it. Not at all. And I'm not just somebody who will shill for Hans Zimmer, because I couldn't think of another movie that he did offhand. You know, there's only a few composers like Danny Elfman and John Williams that I really pay attention to. But I liked this. I thought it worked well. So I looked up, I was like, who did this? Okay, Hans Zimmer. But no, I thought it was done well. And I look forward to seeing what he brings for the second installment of this, especially with the larger scale battles between the Fremen and House Harkonnen. Battle scenes were done extremely well. Stunt choreography, fight choreography, everything was done well. It looked good. So I like the effects, the little darts that were flying around, the one that got Atreides and kind of paralyzed him when the Paul stopped in the beginning. Everything looked good, and I just watched Phantasm too, so I was like, dart, oh no, it's the ball, you know. But no, so it was done well. It was done really well. I enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to the second part of this. I hope it's only 2-part, which I imagine will probably be still around that 2 hour and 35-minute mark like it was in Dune Part 1. So there you have it. There's some thoughts of mine on Dune from Denis Villeneuve, a little bit of correlation back to the 1984 Lynch Dune, some character comparisons. Now it's you guys' turn. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I know we've talked about Dune a couple times, but I'm still interested in case anybody out there is just now seeing it or just now, becoming part of this world. Like I said, I've never read the books. I've seen the Lynch and the Villeneuve movie, and that's it. Never watched the miniseries, which I would like to watch if I could find it somewhere. Anyway, so leave your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to smack that like button for me, do the thing for me. It helps us in the algorithms as we make that final push to 1,000. We're 181 subs away. It was 180. Lost one. So 181 subs away from 1,000. We've got all the watch hours we need. But if you want to watch any of these playlists that I've created, go ahead, put them on. You will not be disappointed. I guarantee you that. Especially the Batwoman playlist. That one, a chef's kiss of 73 videos now. Don't forget to join us tomorrow evening, 8:35 Eastern on the channel for Going Rogue, where our guests will be Donald William Osborne, a.k.a. Oz, and Kai MFS. That's all tomorrow night, 8:35. Myself, Tony ToneDef, and the crew right here. We'll have holy shit news, buy or sell, and much, much more. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Etepo Queen of the Place to Be Reviews. I've been here with all of yous. If I don't see you, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow. I'll catch you on the next one. And remember, it's always better to burn out than fade away.